is about measuring investment risk and return. We will first look at the measures of return, and then we will proceed with the measures of risk. Let's look at the holding period return. Holding period return, or HPR, refer to the return that investors receive by holding an investment for a certain period of time. Okay, this is determined by taking the ending value divided by the beginning value of the investment. Ending value of the investment is determined by taking the changes in the selling and buying price plus any income return received from the investment. For example, when you invest in stock, you receive additional income in the form of dividend. So just add in dividend into this item. Okay, we can proceed to calculate the return in percentage term by calculating the holding period yield, and this is computed by taking the holding period return minus 1, right? And we may also calculate the annualized holding period yield from this holding period yield, but before that you need to calculate the annualized holding period return, and this annualized holding period return is calculated by taking holding period return power to 1 over n, and refer to the numbers of holding years. Okay, from here then we proceed to the calculations of annualized holding period yield by taking the annualized holding period return minus 1. Okay, having looking at the measures of return, we will look at the mean historical return, and you may calculate arithmetic return and geometric return. Arithmetic return or mean return is calculated by taking the summation of the holding period yield divided by n refer to the number of holding years. Okay, or you may proceed with the calculation of geometric return by taking the product of holding period return power to 1 over n minus 1. Product of holding period return is the multiplication of the holding period return for each of the periods, right? Next, we move to the measures of risk. There are 3 measures of risk, which are variance, standard deviations, and coefficients of variations. Variance and standard deviation basically measures how dispersed the holding period yield is from the mean holding period yield. Okay, variance is determined by taking the summation of holding period yield minus expected holding period yield, or mean return or arithmetic mean power to 2 divided by n. And standard deviation is basically square root of variance. And coefficient of variation is a measure of risk per unit of return. It is calculated by taking standard deviation divided by return. And most of the time, coefficients of variation allow you to compare 2 investments. Okay, the higher the coefficient of variations, the higher will be the risk. Likewise to the variance and standard deviation, the higher the amount, the higher will be the risk. Okay, we will proceed to look at the expected return. Okay, expected return is determined by taking the summation of probability of return multiplied by the possible return. Okay, so this calculation actually involve assigning the probability value to all possible return. Example, if you have probability of 0 for certain return, meaning that you are quite sure that you are not going to get that amount of return because of you assign 0%, 0 probability to that. However, if you have the probability of 1 for certain percentage of return, meaning that you are quite sure that you're going to get that percentage of return. Okay, so when you sum up the probability of return multiplied by the possible return, you're going to get the expected return. Then we will move to look at the measuring of risk of expected return, and this involves the calculation of variance and standard deviation. Again, variance is determined by taking the summation of probability of the event multiplied by the possible return minus the expected return power to 2. Okay, so you assign the probability to this event, okay, and then power to 2, sum it up, you're going to get the variance. And standard deviation likewise is determined by taking the square root of variance. Okay, having looking at the measures of risk and return, okay, you should proceed to do some exercises to get better understanding on the concept of risk and return. That's all for this video. Thank you.